Jonathan is an entertainment and technology attorney of counsel at Troy Gould in Los Angeles. He's also the contributing editor on entertainment labor issues for The Hollywood Reporter. And best of all, it is great to have him back on The Buzz. Hello, Jonathan. Welcome back. We've missed you.
Well, I've missed you guys as well, and it's a pleasure to be back.
The last time you were on the show, which was earlier last year, we were deep into the Me Too campaign and the controversy over the Harvey Weinstein crisis. How would you describe the temperature of the industry today?
As regards Me Too, we're sort of in a consolidation phase. On the one hand, there may be some difficulties in the Weinstein prosecution itself. At least one of the charges was dropped. We don't know where that's going. We could be in for a surprise on that, or maybe not. But I think the industry is beginning to adjust to a new normal, a new reality that is one that involves more gender equity and racial equity as well. And that, of course, is a welcome development.
We're taping this on Tuesday, a couple days before the show itself, and the Oscars were announced this morning, yet there were no women directors announced. It looks like we still have a ways to go.
We do. There's no doubt about that. And sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Studies that the Directors Guild has done bear this out. There's no doubt that the opportunities for women directors and directors of color are not what they should be. But the Directors Guild studies also do show, finally, in the last year or so, some change and some progress that we weren't seeing previously. So although it is Oscars so male on the directing side, let's keep our fingers crossed on that.
Based upon what I'm reading, especially the articles that you're putting together, Jonathan, 2019 is going to be a watershed year in a variety of ways, and one of them is the impact of new streaming services, which are going to be debuting this year. What do you see their impact on the industry?
It's going to be tectonic. I mean, first of all, Netflix continues to move forward. There was reporting today that Netflix is in negotiations with the MPAA, the trade association of the major studios, the 6 major studios, soon to be 5 studios, with the Disney acquisition of Fox. The Netflix is in negotiations to join the MPAA. It would be the first time that a company that's not per se a studio, a traditional studio, would be a member. That really, along with Netflix's, I think, 15 Oscar nominations, including one for Best Picture, Roma, really underscores the effect that Netflix is having on the industry. They're producing almost as much content as the entire rest of the industry put together. Certainly the majors in both film and television. But we're going to see new competitors for Netflix arising. The studios are finally starting to respond. We're going to see Disney's streaming service debuting this year. Warner's has announced a service that I believe will debut this year. I'm not 100% sure of that. And we expect that Apple's service will debut this year as well. Meanwhile, Comcast has announced a sort of a hybrid service. Not sure if that's to be debuting this year or next, but soon is no doubt the answer. That will be ad-supported and free if you have a cable subscription, or you can pay for it as a subscription service in the same vein as Netflix and get it without commercials. That may pose an interesting challenge to the guilds in terms of how to categorize that service for purposes of residuals. Shifting to the guild lens for a moment, one of the things that's difficult for the unions is that the contracts, particularly the residuals portions of their contracts, are built on assumptions that are shifting out from under their feet in terms of the discrete differences between different media and the way media are categorized. Because the residuals formulas depend very critically on what medium something is made for and what it's being reused in. But when the definitions of media start to blur and overlap and shift, that presents challenges.
Well, the guilds brings us, I think, to another core issue that's going to be happening this year, which is negotiations. And 2 come to mind. One is SAG-AFTRA and the other is DGA. What's happening with SAG-AFTRA in the commercials contract?
Commercials contract expires March 31st, and so negotiations are expected to begin next month, February. And technology is the watchword there. The ad industry is under a lot of pressure. The fact that people are watching Netflix these days, which they're willing to pay for, 10, now 12, 13 bucks a month. They've just raised their prices. There's no ads on Netflix. When there's no ads on a large portion of the media that people are watching, that creates difficulties because SAG-AFTRA really rests on three pillars for the actors anyways: film, television, and commercials. And commercials are equally large, if not larger, than each of the other two pillars. And so anything that affects the health of the ad industry affects SAG-AFTRA. The other challenge for the union is that there's a significant non-union contingent. A lot of companies shoot commercials non-union, and members in some cases violate the working rules, the rules of SAG-AFTRA, Global Rule 1, and will work on a non-union shoot in violation of those rules. Just this weekend, there was a Cadillac commercial being shot out in the high desert, 140 miles from Los Angeles, and SAG-AFTRA reps traveled in the pre-dawn hours to document that shoot and to identify SAG-AFTRA members who were working on that shoot in violation of the rules. Those members now probably are going to be facing discipline.
And what about the DGA negotiations?
Well, the DGA likes to negotiate early, and their contract doesn't expire until the middle of 2020. We're talking TV theatrical now. Same for SAG-AFTRA and the Writers Guild. But the DGA, if history is a guide, is likely to begin negotiations and finish negotiations in December of this year. So that's looking ahead towards the end of the year a little bit. But there again, we will see residuals at the forefront and a variety of other issues, again, very much related to the changing industry background.